What's up, agents, and welcome back to another Division video. We are hanging outside our usual haunt, Lincoln Memorial, getting ready to test a build, but before we do that, we're going to check out the patch notes and look at what they did to Intimidate. Just before we get into it, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. You guys have been crazy recently. Thank you so much for all the support. All of the likes on the videos and all of the extra subs go a long way to helping make the channel better. So thank you to everybody that's pressed them buttons. Let's get straight on. Right, so Intimidate and Perfect Intimidate. Let's get rid of the search thing so it doesn't stand out. Right, so they made a little bit of a change to these, and they've made a positive change to it, but not necessarily a damage increase. Well, kind of. Well, let's just talk about it. So we gain 3 stacks per second up to a max stack of 9, and each stack increases total weapon damage by 4% to enemies within 10 meters. All right, so that sounds great, and it used to be 1 stack per second to a max of 7, but it was an increase of 5% to enemies within 10 meters. Okay, so what you might have noticed is this is actually the second version of this video. I got pulled up in the comments, and quite rightly so, by a few people as how badly I organized that previous video, because the whole purpose of when I pulled the calculator out on this point was to show actually how much quicker you get damage now, because you're gaining 3 stacks per second rather than 1. Then a little bit later on in the video, and I've left all that alone, I actually threw up, it was around 5 minutes. It might differ now because obviously I'm talking different now, but around 5 minutes so in the video, when I'm doing Lincoln Memorial, I pull up the damage sheet and show the actual damage numbers, which I worked out with formulas that I will show you on the screen in just a second, that are the actual way of working it out. So for instance, we'll start with Intimidate, and you can see here, and this is just how my spreadsheet works. There's multiple different ways in maths that you can express this, but you can see it's the weapon damage to the power of the number of stacks. So in this case, because it is regular Intimidate, that's going to be 9. And that is how I work out the amplified damage, because they're to the power of themselves, they're amplified damage as well. And then with the Perfect Intimidate, you can see that's just a little bit different. Again, it's the weapon damage to the power of itself, which is 10 stacks. And that then gives me roughly 48 amp. Depending on how truncated you're making the numbers or not, everyone will have slightly different numbers, because as well, that affects if you put in the weapon damage in your spreadsheet truncated or not, or you got the actual weapon damage number. But it plays out there and there enough. I tested the damage numbers in the range. They show within a couple of hundred damage of each other. So that's happy enough for me to see how this build is actually performing. So props to everyone that pulled me up in the comments. I was trying to make it easier for people just to understand that you gain stacks quicker, and therefore overall you will do more damage because you're gaining the stacks quicker. So instantly, just off 1 stack, you're doing more damage than you were previously. I get it. It's not quite as straightforward as that, but hopefully now you've got both sides of the coin. So now we've gone over that, the chest piece I'm running is super hard to get. It's the Hunter Killer. It comes with a yellow. It's absolutely horrible to try and get. Cassie Mendoza sells it every week, but you can also craft them now if you're lucky enough to get the blueprint from Descent. If you don't want to run that chest piece, or you've not got it, or you've not got access to it yet, don't worry about it. I'll give you some viable alternatives at the end. Right, so let's see how this gets on. We're running Ouroboros, but you could by all means, you know, run Chatterbox or you know, whatever you want. And something interesting, I posted a SMG video yesterday with the Chatterbox, and I'm wondering if really I could adapt that and make the build I posted yesterday actually, you know, quite a bit better actually. We could also quite easily crack out an assault rifle version of this. But we had to go Hunter's Fury first, because Hunter's Fury is so good. So good. I mean, look at the armor, the control, the damage. It's crazy good. Oh, I'm talking about damage. Let's throw the stats up now quickly. I did the spreadsheet for this build as well, so you can actually see some damage numbers. Just pause it here if you want to, you want to check them out. I know a lot of people like numbers, and I thought I would throw them up as well. No, we don't like guns. It'll be interesting now. Let's see what survivability is like. Alright, survivability feels like I'm absolutely running blues. And even knowing the spawn points and making a bit of a mess of that then, it was still no problem. So obviously you can see Hunter's Fury is fully stacked. We just lost the stacks there. So we're going to gain them again pretty quick. This is kind of perfect for people that like run and gun, right? This is very run and gun. We've even got some distance on this bad boy. Look at that. Oh, he's jumped down nice. I mean, I know heroic's easy, but this, I mean, wow. Makes it an absolute walk in the park, and we're critting at just under a mil headshot crits with this build as well. Yeah, just crazy good. Right, let's get into it. Let's get to the point everyone's been waiting for. So we're running Gunner. The reason we're running Gunner is we want health on kill, we want the rate of fire increase, we want all that goodness from Gunner. Just make sure you're selecting for this the SMG type damage in that section, and we've got the Ouroboros on. But like I said, Chatterbox would be great here also. So if you've not got the Ouroboros yet, by all means whack yourself on a Chatterbox. As you can see here, you know, Chatterbox has a high damage but a low RPM, but its talent gives it high RPM. So if you can get, you know, that RPM up to almost max, you're going to be competing with the Ouroboros, which when you're playing solo is probably a bit easier to do as well. Offhand and, you know, the gun, just run whatever you like. This was the chest I'm talking about. We're talking about the Hunter Killer. The brand set bonus does absolutely nothing for us, but we're taking the extra damage here from the perfect version of, you know, Intimidate. And what that does is actually gives us more damage than what running, you know, a regular brand set bonus would be. But there is some ups and downs to that as well, and we'll just kind of go over that very quickly now. You know, if we've got the Sokolov backpack here, I could have 15% extra critical hit damage here by running the 2-piece bonus. So you're not completely shut out of this build if you've not got access to the perfect Hunter Killer chest piece. You could just literally run another Sokolov chest piece, get Intimidate on, and you're going to be competing. You're not quite going to be doing as well, but you're going to be competing. So with the Hunter Killer, you want crit chance, crit damage rolling on it as, you know, as standard, and then you can roll the core attribute to weapon damage. I've got a critical hit damage mod in here, and we've got the perfect Intimidate talent that we were talking about on the chest. Backpack, Sokolov, SMG damage, weapon damage, crit damage, and crit chance. And then Bloodsucker, which brings the talent together, because obviously we need to be in bonus armor. Killing an enemy adds and refreshes a stack of 10% bonus armor for 10 seconds, and the max is 10. And that gave us an absolute huge amount of bonus armor. Nothing to worry about there. We were never really out of it. You are going to get in sticky situations every now and again, but, you know, it's absolutely brilliant. Alternatives here are obviously the Memento, if you like to run that. I'm not a massive fan. The Memento's great. I'm not trying to put it down. I know there's a lot of people who are a lot of fans of it, but you've got to collect the tokens, you know. And for me, I'd rather have Bloodsucker sat here with this kind of build so I can get that bonus the second I kill. So I know I'm getting my damage as quickly as possible. But totally up to you here. Like I said, that's definitely open to interpretation. And then we've got Hunter's Fury. We've got SMG damage in here, which is great. You could run offhand as a shotgun as well if you wanted to, because you've got a lot of damage for that. We've got armor on kill, and we've got health on kill, which is great. And then we've got the Apex Predator. And what you got to think about with the Apex Predator is it gives you a lot of damage and a lot of crowd control, and I think it gets looked over far too much. As far as like an everyday build goes, Hunter's Fury is absolutely king, because all enemies within 15 meters receive a debuff, amplifying their damage against them by 20%, and that's just being within 15 meters of them. Killing a debuffed enemy disorientates them, which is crazy good, because it disorientates all the other enemies around you within 5 meters. So if you can get anywhere near the door, like I do in Lincoln Memorial, It's a great showcase for this build here because you can often get to the doors and they all just, you know, they're dead before they even come out of that disorientate. So it's really, really great. Then on top of that, the damage against them gets amplified by 5% for 10 seconds, and that stacks up to 5 times. Crazy, crazy good. You know, that's a lot of amplified damage for just killing people, you know, as close as possible, and that's why things die so quickly. And it fits so good with the fast rate of fire SMG, you know, with the Chatterbox and with the Ouroboros. Just means you're right up there. So the mask is weapon damage, crit damage, crit damage. Then with the gloves, we've got weapon damage, critical hit, and damage. And then with the knees, we've got weapon damage, critical hit, damage. And then with the holster, we've got weapon damage, critical hit, damage. And all that adds up to some really, really nice numbers when we look in the stats. We've got 59% critical hit chance. We've got 151% critical hit damage and 70% headshot damage. And, you know, you're up close and personal, and even if you're terrible like me, you should at least be able to ping in a few headshots with this build. Yeah, it's just really, really, really nice. You know, it's all-round goodness. It's got a lot of survivability built into this, you know, very similar to when I say, you know, for a lot of content in the game right now, do not worry about having a load of blues. Do not worry about having unbreakable. Do not even worry about necessarily even having a revive hive, you know, because you can build so much survivability into a full red build. If you can kill really, really fast, then, you know, these builds are a king. And it's great for a bit of run and gun action. You know, we're playing a looter shooter that's meant to be cover based, but everybody loves a bit of run and gun every now and again. That's going to be it for the video. I really do hope you enjoyed it. Please consider hitting that subscribe button and the like button and helping me out. If we can get anywhere near 300 likes, that would be absolutely amazing. That's going to be it for the video. If you want a Discord server where everybody loves The Division, you'll find that down below in the description. Plenty of help going on in there as well. Don't forget to like, share, comment. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I've lost all my words. I've obviously talked too much. Let's get out of here. Bye-bye.